God, it's been a long year.
It's not even April.
Fuck! Hey Bookaholics, so welcome back to another video. Today I am bringing you the quarter year crisis tag. Boy, am I in crisis. Normally when this tag comes around, I'm like, gosh, it's already been 3 months. What has happened to these 3 months? And then this year I'm like, it's only been 3 months. So here we are with the tag again, and we're going to keep chill vibes. Obviously, the intro definitely indicated this is chill vibes. What a year! I mean, flipping heck. Anyway, let's get into some questions, because last thing anyone needs is for me to ramble about how funky 2025 is. So the first question of this tag is, how many books have you read so far? As of filming this, I am on my 35th book. By the time this comes out, it is entirely possible I will be further along. I have had the reading mojo this year. I have been vlogging, and vlogging forces me to spend more time reading because it makes me want to talk about the books. And then I sit there and I talk about the book, and then it's like, oh, I need to go pick that up again now. And so the cycle continues. I've also very much been implementing reading on my phone, which used to be a distraction, but now actually allows me to doom scroll for like a shorter period of time and then switch back to my book. And I just kind of flick between them, and I actually get more reading in than I did used to, because I used to just doom scroll and then be like, oh, I have to go get my book, or I have to go come off my phone, which now I don't have to. I just flick between. So I'll read a chapter and then I can scroll, and then read a chapter and then scroll, instead of spending that entire time scrolling. Second question is, have you already read a book that you think might be a 2024 favorite? I've done some rereads that are definitely favorites, but obviously they are rereads. Granted, a couple of them have gone up in rating. That would be both of the Malazan Book of the Fallen books that I've read. I previously rated them 4 stars when I read them via audio, and this time I have rated them 5 stars, but they are rereads. So as for a new book that I've read this year that is a potential new favorite, I have Far From the Light of Heaven by Tate Thompson. This one partly just because of how shocked I was at how much I would like this book. I have talked about it relatively recently. It is in my February wrap up, so I'll leave that linked, and it's also in my Blackathon vlog. So I will leave those linked if you want to know my thoughts and my evolution of my feelings of this book. But I went in thinking, oh, it will be a fun sci-fi, nothing I've not read before, because it is literally about people who are in hypersleep. They're on a spaceship going from Earth to another planet, and then when they awaken, something has happened, something has gone wrong, and then we need to investigate it. And that is such a typical setup for sci-fi, it's not even funny. So I didn't think this book would be able to give me anything new. I just thought it'd be a fun time. Turns out that this book absolutely gave me new thoughts and feelings, especially because it's hugely anti-capitalist and very much a discussion around environmental impact and social impact of billionaires and of the corruption of capitalism. So I absolutely loved this. Now, I don't know how much of that is due to the shock factor of me thinking that this would just be a fine book and absolutely loving it, versus how much it is just this is an incredible book. But I am really glad to have read it, so I'm going to go with this one. Question 3 is, any 1-star reads or any least favorites of the year? I have had a couple of DNFs so far this year. I DNF'd Learn My Lesson by Katie Robert, which is the second book in the Wicked Villain series. That was a shame because I did really like Desperate Measures. It was the first BDSM erotica that I had ever read. Since then I have read other BDSM eroticas that I've liked more, and then this one just didn't feel fulfilling. There was nothing inherently wrong with it, it just wasn't grabbing me. I've also DNF'd The Wind Through the Keyhole, which is one of the companion books in the Dark Tower series. However, I think DNF the entirety of the Dark Tower series, and my lowest rated book so far that I have completed is The Wolves of the Calla, which is book 5 of the Dark Tower series, which has a 1.5, I think, on my core pile. The next question is, what is your most read genre? And pulling up my core pile, I have read mostly fantasy, with 68.8% of all of my reads being fantasy, which equates to 22 books. The next most read is science fiction, in which I've only read 4 books. So fantasy is very, very much the dominant genre still, which is unsurprising because I am mostly a fantasy reader. Question 5 is a book that surprised you. I have a couple. The first of which was Perilous Times by Thomas Dealey. This is one I've heard mixed reviews about, and while I can kind of understand, it's kind of the same reason why people who hate Babel, or When Women Were Dragons, or any of the ones where it's just, I have thoughts and I have conversation that I'm going to force you to have kind of story. And I understand that doesn't work for a lot of people. I am a-okay with it. So it's an environmental fantasy that very, very much emphasizes on environmental impact. But I had a good time with it. It was Arthurian. It was fun. The writing style was really easy to get through. Had a good time. Another one that actually did surprise me is I enjoyed The Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson. I am not a fan of Mistborn Era 1. I have a review for it and it's just not my vibe. So I was questioning whether or not I would like this. It's a Western. I don't like Westerns. And it's Mistborn. I don't have a good history with Mistborn. But I actually had a fun time with this. Like, it's not like new favorite territory, but I actually enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed Mistborn, which makes me question my ratings for Mistborn again. I read them back in 2020 and I rated them, I think, like 4.34. And now they are 3.23, I think. And now I'm like, well, I gave this 3 stars. I definitely had a better time with it. But obviously Mistborn is more complex, hence the 3-star for Mistborn Era 1 being different to the 3-star for this one, because this was just a fun romp and it kind of did exactly what I set out to do, I find. So I am actually enjoying this story and I am actually excited to continue, which is new to me in Sandersphere. Question 6 is a book that has already come out in 2025 that you have not yet read but want to. I do, in every year I do a series that are supposed to be concluding in the following year. So in 2024 I did a video where I talked about series that are going to be concluding in 2025. I will leave that linked, and any of the books that are in that video that have already come out, so any of the January, February or March releases in that video, would apply for this question. Not because I am desperate for that installment necessarily, but because I binge read series. So what happens is the series concludes and then I pick them up. For example, Emily Wilde's Compendium of Fairies, or whatever it is, the last one, that having come out then opens the doorway for me to read the entire series. So that's an odd one. But my only like anticipated releases that are standalones haven't come out yet, and those are the ones that I would kind of pick up immediately. So the only other one that comes to mind isn't one that I had on my radar until me and some friends are potentially doing something with it, and that is Green Teeth by Molly O'Neill. You're not going to hear me talk about this for a little while, but I do have hopefully very exciting plans for this book. So this one was released in February, so I guess I'll go with this one. It's one of the first books I've managed to pre-order because the pre-order link was actually available on Spanish Amazon. Yes. So yeah, I guess this one is what we're going with. Question 7 is one goal that you are succeeding at. One of the things that I said in my goals video was that I really wanted to create much more of a sense of community. I really wanted to start doing things with other creators, be it live shows, be it projects, buddy reads, read-alongs, etc. And that is exactly what I have started doing. I have several things planned with some of my friends that I am really, really excited about. I have my friend chooses my TBR. I have a buddy read that we're doing in vlog format coming out. I have this whole huge project that I'm going to be doing with a group of friends, and also everything that entails, like having a genuine sense of community on the Bookternet. And with everything that happened in February, one of the messages that I did take away was, especially girls, but just everyone in general, make sure you have a community. When things go tits up, make sure you have a community. And that is exactly what hit me most this year. This year, having the ability to have the rug pulled from under you and come back and still have a meaningful connection with the Bookternet was really important to me, and that is something I've been really focusing on this year, and I have been having a great time with. I have an incredible group of friends that I absolutely adore, and I love where I am at with my social interactions. I have some amazing people over on Instagram that we tag each other in photo challenges, and we just chat to and like each other's stories. I have an amazing group of friends that we're doing booktube stuff together. We just chat about anything. It doesn't need to be book related. I have a group of besties that I literally, we send memes to each other, we uplift each other, we chat to each other about books that we have in common. It's gorgeous. I love it. I'm having a great time, and that has literally been the highlight of such a shitty year for me. The sense of community aspect that I wanted to improve on, I genuinely didn't know it would be this soon, but I am so happy with it. Question 8 is one goal you should maybe focus on more. Given that my primary goal was a sense of community, I have achieved that. I guess pushing that little bit further, I would like to maybe do some live streams, maybe some like sprints or something, maybe put myself out there even more. But I think I've already made progress in the one and only goal that I had. So it's just to keep improving on that, keep building on that. And I'm glad I'm on the trajectory that I'm on. Question 9 is new to you, booktubers, bookstagrammers, booktokers from 2025 that I would recommend. Some of these are genuinely new to me, even though they are now like what I would consider pretty close friends. Booktube channels, I have a fictional escapist who I have been watching for a while, and I think I've followed him on Instagram for even longer. But we've actually begun interacting now. So a fictional escapist, Rachel Reading Fairy, Ray Loves to Read, Hardy's Books, Lady Mare Reads. I mean, Books to Ashes I've been watching for, I'd say, the best part of 2 years now, but I always want to shout her out because she is an incredible human being and I want to shout her out again. I have a wonderful community around me and I could just be here for days listing off people. Elise from Mojo Pie Reads. So over on Instagram, I'm going to create a highlight where I'm going to just add all of my like faves in there. So if you want Instagram recommendations, go follow me on Instagram. I'm going to make a highlight. Booktubers, I will leave linked down below. I mean, I'll also leave, I think, a couple of blogs down there. My favorite bloggers on the planet are Esme and Terry, who I have done vlogs about their books before, so you'll have heard of them before from me, but I could go on. I could just go on forever. So I would like to give a shout out to the people that do comment on my videos, especially Rebecca. Rebecca has always been super supportive of my channel. I really wanted to shout her out. That is a fantastic place to end this vlog on, and I'm feeling like I'm in such a good place, and this tag has really highlighted that for me. I get to shout out about all the incredible people I've been interacting with. So that is all from me for today. Let me know in the comments down below what is the best book you've read so far this year, and also who's a content creator that you have recently discovered that you love. I hope that if you are in this community, be it new or you've been here for years, I really hope that you have a community and you've found a sense of community. And if you haven't, reach out to me. Like, I am always loving the idea of just expanding the amount of people I get to chat to. Finding a sense of community is super important, and I really hope that you find that here in this community. But that is all from me for today. So thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll catch you in another one soon. Bye.